My name is Werner Kraus, Dr. Werner Kraus. I'm the director of the Center for Southeast Asian Art. This is a private institution dedicated to the documentation and research on Southeast Asian art, especially on Indonesian art. And I'm stationed in Passau in Germany. Today I sit in the exhibition of H.WIDAYAT in the OHD Museum in Magelang. And I have to confess that I'm not a specialist on H.WIDAYAT. And when I was asked to do an interview on the exhibition and the work of H.WIDAYAT, I decided not to read anything about H.WIDAYAT first, but report my impressions by walking through this beautiful museum and its exhibition. H.WIDAYAT, of course, is one of the most important artists, Indonesian artists of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. For a long time he was active. And at the same time, he is the least internationally known Indonesian artist. People like Sujoyono, Hendro Gunawan, and so on are very well known abroad, but H.WIDAYAT, according to my experience, is still unknown in the West. And though the first question I ask myself, why is that? That was the question when I walked through this exhibition. And my answer after I've seen the exhibition is, maybe it is because he is so much connected to Indonesian traditional culture. It's no question that he is a modern painter, and modernity, of course, is an international movement. But in a way, he broke down modernity to the local level, H.WIDAYAT. His strong sense of the ornament, which is actually the enemy of modernism, his strong sense of the ornament is an expression of his strong Indonesian cultural heritage. A lot of the paintings reminded me transformed batik patterns, and I think this is not by accident. This is because he also, somebody told me, he also worked in the batik business for a while. Then another thing that struck me when I looked at the paintings of H.WIDAYAT is the consistency. So his style, he developed his styles, or rather his styles. I have to say his styles very early, and he consistently developed it and stayed with it. Unless other major artists, he was not too much influenced by global or national developments. That makes him something special. And it also takes him out of the Indonesian art history of the 50s, because the Indonesian art history of the 50s was part of Indonesian history, the struggle for independence and the struggle for nation building, to build up a new nation. This is very strongly reflected in the Indonesian artworks, but not within the work of H.WIDAYAT. So was he an unpolitical person? I don't know if we can call that unpolitical. I think he was a very spiritual person, and his understanding of humanity went farther back than the political everyday life, you know. What I see in his painting is a great respect for nature. I see a great understanding of natural processes, of being born, growing up, dying. This is experience all of us have to have, but this individual experience of death is not there in nature, because nature is eternal. The birth and the creation of the mature form within nature and the decay is just part of this process of being born again. So nature is much more resilient than human life, and he apparently has understood that. I heard that he spent many of his years in Sumatra, working in the outbacks of the Sumatra in the 1940s, when Sumatra was still very much dominated by jungle and big woods. And he must have experienced this strong resilience of nature while he was there. And this became part of his experience till the end of his life. At least in this exhibition here in the OHD Museum, this is one of the messages I got from the works of Widayat. Okay, when it comes to the question, what has he left behind? What is his heritage? I think most of Indonesian artists maybe would agree that he was a very influential, a very good teacher. As a teacher, over many years, he educated a lot of Indonesian artists, and apparently he never forced his students to follow his style. He was very liberal in his teaching, and he encouraged all his students to develop a free approach to their own style. And this is something. This is not what we can tell about every teacher. What else? The second point I want to make on his heritage is that maybe he understood what an Indonesian modern art could be. The discussion about the future or the presence of Indonesian art, what is Indonesian art, started already in the Journal of Pujangga Baru in the 1930s, and it went on through the Republican times, and even today the discussion is not at an end. But he, Widayat, gave one answer. His work can be considered modern Indonesian art, modern Indonesian culture, and at the same time he leaves it open to us to find more answers. His work is not the only answer, it's just one of many answers to this question, what is Indonesian art? And that he was liberal enough to understand that there can't be a single answer to this question about the nature of a national Indonesian art. That's one of his big contribution to this discussion, to this discourse on the identity of Indonesian art. And in this way, I guess he will not be forgotten for a long time. He was a great artist, and Indonesian art history has to honor him.